You know, for as long as we can remember, we've stared up at the night sky, just filled with this sense of wonder. We've always dreamed of the stars as our final destiny, right? A huge blank canvas for our biggest, boldest ambitions.
We even gave it a name, the final frontier. It's supposed to be the ultimate symbol of human progress, of discovery, the place where we finally leave our earthly problems behind and reach for something, I don't know, almost divine. It's a beautiful dream, a really powerful one.
But what if we've had it wrong this whole time? What if that infinite, silent blackness isn't a canvas for our hopes at all, but it's a mirror? A perfect, cold, unflinching mirror reflecting back every single fear, every doubt, every fragile little piece of what we think makes us human. Today, we are diving into an anthology that does exactly that. A book that takes our collective dream of space and twists it into a psychological nightmare. So, welcome to the world of Astrophobia. All right, let's get the key details down. This is Astrophobia, an anthology of space horror, set for release in 2025 and edited by Vesper. It's a collection of 13 stories from queer authors, and let me tell you, it's a potent mix of sci-fi, deep psychological terror, and body horror. Now, a quick warning, its target audience is definitely mature readers. You've got to be ready for some extreme content and appreciate horror that's a lot more philosophical than it is action-packed. So, to really get to the terrifying heart of this book, we're going to pull out 5 key truths, 5 direct quotes that show exactly how it turns space itself into a weapon against the human mind. Let's start the descent. Okay, truth number 1. Space is the ultimate amplifier. The book's whole argument is that in the crushing, absolute isolation of the void, when you're stripped of every social comfort, our deepest anxieties don't just show up, they get magnified to a level that is just unbearable. Whatever you're scared of in the dark here on Earth, out there, it becomes your entire reality. The book also gets into the horror of losing your own identity. I mean, just imagine this. Your mind, your consciousness, is perfectly intact, but you're forced to watch your own body change into something alien over 1,000 years. The terror here isn't dying, it's being trapped forever in a horrifying existence where your own body isn't yours anymore. And you should know, this book's goal is to make you uncomfortable. But it's not just for shock value. That discomfort is a very deliberate tool. It's designed to get past all our intellectual defenses and just force us to look at some terrifying existential truths head-on. It's basically horror, being used as a kind of philosophical scalpel. And this really gets to the central question of the whole anthology. Is being human some core, unshakable thing, or is it just a fragile idea, something that only exists because our environment allows it to? The book seems to suggest that under the unbelievable pressure of deep space, our very definition of human might just shatter completely. And this right here ties it all together. The ultimate goal of Astrophobia is to completely flip that hopeful story of space exploration on its head. It argues that the universe just doesn't care about us. And when we finally have to face that fact, space becomes the perfect mirror, forcing us to see just how fragile our own sense of identity and meaning really is. Whew. Okay, we've stared right into the abyss. So, how do we use that darkness to our advantage? Believe it or not, this anthology, through all its horror, actually offers a powerful lesson in building mental strength. Think of this as your psychological survival kit. Here it is, the final lesson, forged in the fires of cosmic horror. Real psychological resilience isn't built by running away from fear. It's built by deliberately facing it, in isolation, away from all the usual comforts and distractions that we use to shield ourselves from reality. And here's how you can actually apply it. Step 1. A daily fear inventory. Spend just 10 minutes alone identifying one fear you avoided that day. Step 2. A weekly isolation identity test. Spend a couple of hours totally alone, no distractions, and just see what thoughts come up. And third, an existential discomfort practice. For 15 minutes, just sit with uncertainty before you go looking for advice. This is how you build that mental muscle the characters in these stories are so desperately missing.
All right, let's step back from the abyss for a second and put on our critic's hat. How does Astrophobia actually hold up as a piece of literature? It's time for the verdict. So, on the plus side, this book is an absolute masterclass in psychological horror. Its focus on existential dread is incredibly consistent, and the diverse queer voices bring a really fresh and needed perspective. But there are some weaknesses. The constant, relentless dread can lead to what you might call horror fatigue, and, a few of the stories do seem to prioritize shock value over making those deeper philosophical points.
So, taking all of that into account, our final grade for Astrophobia is a 6.8 out of 10.
Let's break that number down a little. For content quality, it gets a strong 7.5. The themes are powerful and cohesive, but it gets held back a bit by that over-reliance on shock. For practical applicability, we gave it a 6.0. The insights are definitely valuable, but the extreme situations make them pretty tough to apply for most people. All in all, it's a powerful work that really succeeds at what it sets out to do, but its extreme nature might be what limits its wider impact.
Now, if this trip into cosmic dread has sparked your curiosity and you're actually ready to continue the descent, we've got two excellent recommendations for where to go next. First, you have to check out The Weird, a compendium of strange and dark stories. Just like Astrophobia, it's an anthology that's all about challenging psychological horror that really messes with your perception of reality. The big difference is it casts a much wider net, so you're not just limited to space settings.
And for any of you who were really fascinated by that theme of cosmic indifference, you absolutely must read Songs of a Dead Dreamer by Thomas Ligotti. He is the master of existential dread. His work explores how meeting the vast, uncaring unknown just strips away all human meaning. It is the perfect philosophical companion piece to Astrophobia.
Look, the void might be vast and indifferent, but our community of explorers here is not. If you appreciate these deep dives into some really challenging literature, make sure to follow and subscribe for more. Thanks for joining us on this descent.